What's up everyone, and welcome to the ultimate guide to Hard Ops and BoxCutter. So this course is meant to focus exclusively on these two add-ons, how to utilize them, how to use them, and actually make your workflow and hard surface a lot more efficient. Now, I do want to mention that Hard Ops and BoxCutter get updated very frequently, usually every few weeks, so this course is bound to change. Some things you see in this course might be slightly different in the future. With that being said, we'll try to keep the big important functionalities up to date, but there's just going to be some big changes that will definitely be happening at some point. So although the fundamentals will remain the same with these add-ons, there might be a few different tools and buttons that might be moved around, or perhaps a new tool might be introduced. So just keep that in mind. BoxCutter and Hard Ops get updated a lot, but this course should still be a good overview for most of the versions to come. And quickly, I'm going to discuss the structure. So the first section of this course is going to be showcasing how to use these add-ons. Now, it seems like it's a quick and easy tool to learn. It's not. It's going to take some time, so I don't know how many hours this first part's going to be, but we're going to go through all of the essential tools, as well as some of the tools that I don't use too much but might be useful to you. So that's going to be the first part of the course, and the second part of the course is going to be taught by Ryu, my Blender Bros partner, and what we're going to be doing, or what he's going to be doing rather, is create a cool looking sci-fi Land Rover using everything I teach you in this section. So basically it goes from learning the tools to utilizing them, and I think you'll be able to learn the most by doing it this way. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started and hop right into Hard Ops and BoxCutter. So the first tool I want to discuss is Sharpen, and the best way to demonstrate the Sharpen tool is to use a cylinder. So I'm going to add in a cylinder here. And usually in vanilla Blender, you'd have to smooth it out by simply right-clicking Shade Smooth, and then go in over here to the Auto Smooth panel. So what Sharpen does is it does all of this in one click. So instead of having to go to Smooth and then Auto Smooth, which is two different clicks, all you have to do is press the Q key and then click on Sharpen and you're done. Now this is the base functionality of Sharpen. It does quite a bit more, which I'll discuss right now. So first of all, whenever you sharpen, you'll get a panel down here called Hard Ops Sharpen. And the first one, the default one, is S Sharp. We're going to focus on this one first. So basically what S Sharp does is it applies a sharpen and keeps all the modifiers in your stack. So if you have like Booleans going on, none of the Booleans will be applied, they'll stay in. And I'll demonstrate this real quick. We haven't discussed BoxCutter yet, but just bear with me for now. So maybe you have, a few Booleans in here or something, right? So if I just were to go in here and sharpen it, the Booleans stay in the stack. Maybe I'll put a bevel as well. But if you were to use the C Sharpen tool right here, it'll actually apply the Booleans and keep the bevel. So the main focus right now is really just on S Sharp. That's the one I use most of the time, and that's the default one. So you're also going to have an auto smooth angle here, which you can adjust. This value right here is the same exact value as what's in the normal auto smooth panel. If you adjust it in here, it's going to reflect in here, or vice versa. So as you can see, you can adjust the auto smooth angle in here or in here. Only issue I've noticed is that if you adjust it in here, it won't actually update down here, but it's still going to actually apply that to the mesh, so don't worry about it. Now we also have a setting here called sharpness, and this is a very useful one as well. So Sharpen by default allows you to add in any of the four big sharpening options. Those four being bevel weight, sharp, seam, and crease. You're going to notice if I sharpen this and then tab into edit mode, actually as a matter of fact I'm going to go ahead and apply the Boolean, so this is a good time to use the C Sharpen option. You can also do C Sharpen by control clicking on the sharp, does the same thing. This is a good example. If you want to apply your Booleans, you can simply use the C Sharp option to quickly apply those. Not too much difference besides that. Anyways, now if I go into edit mode, you're going to see these Booleans are applied, and we also have some sharps marked around the harsher edges. And the reason this is being marked on the more harsh edges is because of this angle threshold. When we sharpen, you're going to see we have a sharpness angle. And this is very useful because in vanilla Blender you can't mark sharps and bevel weights and creases and things like that based off of an angle. You have to do it manually. So without Hard Ops, you'd actually have to go in here and go around to these harsher edges and mark them manually, whereas with Hard Ops, basically a one-click ordeal. Now you can also adjust the sharpness angle. If I were to make this super low, like 1 degrees, and sharpen it, you're going to see now we have a sharp marked around all these edges because that angle threshold is way too low. Likewise, if I go too high on it, like 180 or something, you're going to see we're not going to really have anything marked. I guess we need to clear this out. But yeah, if I were to use like 180 degrees, you're going to see in this case we won't really have anything marked. In general, 30 degrees captures just about everything you need. I never really changed this option too much, but that is basically what it does if you ever want to adjust the sharpen angles. Now by default, if we press the Control-tilde hotkey on the keyboard, you're going to have an option for your sharps. Let me also move this screencast keys over a bit. So yeah, if you press Control-tilde, you're going to see we have sharp options in here. By default, it applies a bevel weight and a sharp, as you can see here. If I were to alt-click on this set of edges here, you're going to see not only do we have a bevel weight applied, but we also have a sharp applied. If I were to remove this, you're going to see the sharpen is still there. It just, it can't display every single type of sharp we have there, so sometimes the color might override, but it doesn't mean the other options aren't there. So by default, you have these two, but you can also apply a crease and a seam as well based off of the sharpness threshold if you want to. So for example, if you wanted to add in a seam and a crease, maybe you're doing some sort of subsurf modeling or want to separate based off of the harsher angles, you can come in here, turn these two on, sharpen again, and now you're going to see now we have not only a seam applied, but also a bevel weight, a crease, and a sharp applied. Now I don't use these two too much unless I'm doing like subsurf or need to have some areas separated, but these are options if you ever need to turn them on. So that's really about it for Sharpen. It's super easy to understand, and it's one tool that you're going to be using a lot, usually the first setting you use in any sort of hard surface model. There are also a few options which you can go through here and take a look at. C#, the only real difference in this one is that you can also adjust which modifiers you want to have applied. So for example, if I had like a solidify modifier applied for whatever reason, I know this is going crazy, but just bear with me. You can also make it so that if you go to C#, the solidify modifier will also be applied, as you can see here. And you can adjust most of these, but in general, I just leave the Boolean and the solidify on. But if you wanted mirror and array to be applied, you could actually turn those on as well. So for example, if I had a mirror, I'll go ahead and run a mirror, which we'll discuss in a few videos. But say I had a mirror applied on here, right? You can see it in the stack. By default, if you use C#, it doesn't apply the mirror, but if I were to turn this on, it's actually going to apply the mirror, which can be pretty useful. So mess around with those. If you ever need to change the settings, you're more than welcome to do so. That's basically all the S-sharpen and C-sharpen options do. The one final sharpening option is the clean sharp option, which I basically never use. But if you wanted to absolutely remove everything, all your modifiers, all your sharps and things like that, you just go over to this panel right here. It's going to remove your modifiers and also remove any sort of sharpenings that you have on the mesh here. I don't really know a practical use case in which I'd actually use that, but at least it's there if I ever need it. So that's about it for Sharpen. Super easy concept to understand, and we'll be using it a ton in hard surface modeling.